I feel that money is the single biggest obstacle to the planet waking up and being free of the tyranny, the wars, the poverty, the pollution and the starvation. I believe that the banking system is responsible for all those things, or expand it out to the military-industrial complex. And, you know, people say, oh, they're all out to make money. I don't think they are out to make money, because they've got more money than they possibly need. I feel, without exaggeration, that they are out to enslave and control us. Totally. Now, what's going on at the moment, they seem to be stepping that up, quite remarkably, don't they? So, what have we got to do? I think that the most important thing we can do is just spread the love and the energy, keep meeting up, keep supporting each other, and keep sticking it to them, if you like. Just be, why pay that credit card off on time when you can send a few letters and just, cause them a bit more, just wind them up a little bit more. So okay, I'll start talking about, I'll try and start the slideshow. So, fraction, I'm sure most people have either seen me or seen video of me, so I don't go into it in any sort of complexity. I normally talk about the game of Monopoly, because I think the game of Monopoly is a wonderful metaphor for how the global financial system works. And it's but I'm not actually going to do that, apart from saying two things, is that one, the game of Monopoly wasn't created by some guy that was broke during the Depression. That is not true. It was actually set up, it was actually created by an economics professor who decided that she wanted a way to actually show, I think it was a female professor who wanted to explain to her students exactly what the problem of capitalism was. And so what better way of creating a game where one person ended up with all the money. Now, has everyone here played Monopoly? Right. Has anyone won whilst playing? You sir, you've won. Did you realise that when you won, you bankrupted yourself? You think you've won, you've got all the money. Well, as soon as you've taken all the money off everyone else, you can no longer trade with anyone else. unless, of course, you start up a bank and but even then, you see, you're going to have to inflate the monetary supply, because you're going to lend them money, but you're going to want more money back that they haven't got. So you're going to have to keep inflating the money supply, and they're still going to, and you'd end up in a situation we're in today. But of course, like a good parasite never kills the host. And that's what's actually happening at the moment. And with Cyprus, where they're actually stealing money, stealing people's hard-earned money in many cases, because this was their savings that have been stolen. I mean, we must realise that we are in what I feel is the end game, or end times. I really feel that. Does anyone else feel that? Feel that there's not really... and we've all got our own methods of attacking the system, whether it's by going through legally, lawfully, or whatever way of actually trying to have a go. But as soon as somebody finds a way which really works, then basically everyone's just going piling in there, and the system. Already there are judges that realise that if they make this one decision, which is the right decision to make, with all the information in front of them, they know that if they make that one decision, it will bring down the banking system. And I think, Si, do you think I feel we're close to that, do you?
Absolutely.
I really do. I really do. One, and there's only so many times that you can show them the evidence. But anyway, I digress. So, okay, we'll start the presentation now. So, who here has had a loan? Had a loan from a bank? There's a few of you. Anyone not had a loan? So you've all had. Si, have you had a loan from the bank?
I've had loads, man. I haven't paid them back.
Right. Now, I'm going to have to disagree with everyone here. and I'm sure a lot of you realise, the banks didn't have any money to loan you. They don't have any money. The idea that people put their savings into the bank and then they lend that out, that was a fairy story that was over hundreds of years ago. Banks do not, the whole banking system was bankrupt, well, the country's been bankrupt for a long time. I'm not going to go into the history of it. But the thing is, we know that they haven't got any money. They create the money as and when is necessary. But I'm going to go into that. But if you don't believe me, let's have a look at what the bank, people in the banking system actually have to say. So here we go. Sir Mervyn King, Governor of the Bank of England, says, when banks extend loans to their customers, they create money by crediting their customers' accounts. Well, that's you can't, look, check it out. I mean, I didn't make these things up. Is that just incredible that this is what the bank tell us? And yet they go, we want our money back with interest. Well, but you didn't have any money. You made it up. And you've got to realise that I don't come from an economics background or anything like that. I'm actually coming from that sort of. Can you remember when if you're anything like me, when I was 5, I was a nightmare for my parents because I'd go like, Mum, how does the kettle work? How does this work? And I just wanted to know. And there's part of me that's still got that sort of inquisitiveness. I'm fascinated by how things work. And so when you actually put yourselves, and I try and put myself into that sort of like 5-year-old that's going, well, where do the banks get the money from then? And just asking really, really simple questions. But if you don't believe me, let's think of the Governor of the Bank of Canada, who says, each and every time a bank makes a loan, new bank credit is created. New deposits, brand new money. So there's the Governor of the Bank of Canada. I can go on and on. This is Martin Wolf from the Financial Times. The essence of the contemporary money system is the creation of money out of nothing. By banks often foolish lending. Well, he's actually contradicted himself there, because he says the creation of money out of nothing. So, how come if they've got nothing to give us, we actually get so-called money from them, but we have to pay them back? I don't know. Well, that's a rhetorical question. We'll go back to that one. Each and every time, this is Governor of the Bank of Canada, another Governor of the Bank of Canada. Each and every time a bank makes a loan, new bank credit is created. Oh, and I've done that one. Here we go. Lord Turner, this is Chairman of the FSA in the UK. The financial crisis of 2007-2008 occurred because we failed to constrain private finance systems' creation of private credit and money. So he's actually saying that the cause of the financial system's collapse is the creation out of money out of nothing. It's bad. Because not only do they create it out of nothing, they want it paying back with interest. Compound interest. Now, anyone that knows about marbles, now this is, because I often lose my marbles, as it's been, and today, this is just part of the synchronicity. Sorry, you're going to remind me of your name again. Bev, that's of course Bev, because of course I spoke to you on Facebook, didn't I? That's right, yeah. So, Bev here, wonderfully. I left my marbles in Portsmouth yesterday, because I put them in my big bag, and of course I travelled light. I just grabbed a projector and a rucksack, and left my marbles in Portsmouth, so I've lost them again. However, Bev knew that I used marbles, knew that I'd probably forget them, and the first thing she did was come up to me today with 10, she counted them out, 10 marbles. Thank you, Bev. Round of applause for Bev. Just how wonderful and heartwarming is that? So I can do the marble thing for those of you. Has anyone not seen the marble thing, just in case? Oh, there's a handful of you. Okay, that's good. Okay, well, I'm going to put my microphone down a second. Right, here we go. 10 marbles. Okay, we like to check them, sir, can you see? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. They're real marbles, look.
Genuine.
Yeah, proper marbles. Now I'm going to try and get them back in the little string bag. I lost my little string bag and somebody gave me a little pink one. Okay, so I have here 10 marbles in a bag. Is there anyone here, have we got any magicians or conjurers or wizards who can get 11 marbles out?
Bankers?
Very good, Mario. Right, yeah. Any bankers? Yeah, let's give them the challenge. Okay, because this is what is happening in banking. This is the reason for the problems. Now, you don't get anyone going on the television saying, look, the reason is because they're expecting something back that doesn't exist. But that is that either I'm really, really stupid, which is a possibility, or this is how simple the problem is. They want something back which does not exist. Two things have to happen. One thing, because every time the bank lends you money, they want more back, and that amount, which was created out of nothing, doesn't exist. Two things have to happen as a result of that. The supply of marbles, if it was marbles, or money, if it was money, supposedly, has to increase. And it will increase exponentially. It will go up and up and up and up and up until it's vertical. If you look at the graphs of the money supply at the moment, it is pretty well on that. But basically, people, countries, go into debt and they go bust. And we're seeing the result of that. And every single fiat currency system has only ever lasted a few hundred years before it's collapsed in on itself. So it's remarkable. It is remarkable. And there's loads and loads of quotes. We can go on and on. This is the Encyclopedia Britannica. Banks create credit. It's a mistake to suppose that bank credit is created by the payment of money into banks. A loan is made by a bank is a clear addition to the amount of money in the community. So they're creating it as and when necessary. So, how do they create it? Now, people say that the banks print money. Well, apparently only 3% of the money supply in circulation is actually in coins and notes. The rest of it is digital currency. And I know Sai actually offered to pay. Right, it did make me laugh. He actually offered to pay in digital currency. Because what you do, I think you can get calculators in petrol stations for about $1.99 these days, can't you? You bang in the credit and send it to them. Yeah. I just hope the battery doesn't run down in the post. So remember that, see, these poor guys that started these corporations, they didn't realise that every time they made a law which allowed them to do something, they can't make a law that allows a corporate fiction to do something that flesh and blood human beings can't do. So in a way, our escape route from this tyranny has been put in place. So it's almost, now it's not easy as anyone that's, you know, because unfortunately the one thing which is supposed to give us justice, which is the courts, the legal system, is basically slightly biased. In fact, it was bought and paid for and is completely so. But when you produce something really and you quote it, and it's very difficult. We know that sometimes they put in judges that haven't got a clue, don't read the information, you know that, and they just kick it straight out. They've already made their decision because they know that if they don't support the banking system and the courts work together. Why do you think that and it's just so funny that we drove through the City of London, where you have the banks on one side and then you have the Inns of Court on the other, the Templars. You realise that every single barrister is a member of one of 4 temples. You've got inner, you've got outer, you've got greys, and I always forget the 4th one. Middle, yes, yes. Temples. So what we got temples? We're like, what? You know, it's like, it always comes back to esoterics, I think. So, but let's not go there just for now. So the biggest scam in the world, banks charging you interest on nothing, which is quite remarkable. And it's like musical chairs, isn't it? If if all the seats were filled, and Dean put some sort of rocking disco on or something, and we all got up and boogied, and a couple of chairs were taken away, somebody is going to end up on their butt on the floor, and because that's how maths works. You know, we can't. You know, if you're taking something away the whole time, or adding something, or wanting, people are going to. This is why there's so much debt. And I've tried explaining this to people, and they're going, oh no, it's more complicated than that. Because you've got to take into account inflation and devaluing the currency and the worst people to try and explain it to is anyone that's done a degree in economics. And worse than that, anyone that's, a professor. It's incredible. And I know somebody who lives in our village who actually, who's the guy? Was it Nielsen, the guy that did that wonderful Barings Bank fraud? Yeah, Nick Leeson, that's right, not Nielsen. Nick Leeson, that's right. Well, the guy in our village actually got him through his degree. And he actually asked me to do a talk to their students, and then watched a video of what I do, and then cancelled. So don't think they were quite ready. So anyway, I've done a huge amount of research for this talk, and it actually involved reading a PDF that I downloaded from the Bank of England, which is wonderful booklet, because I just wondered what the Bank of England actually tell us. And it says, your money, what the bank does. Our money, actually, that's actually very true, but I'm going to come on to that, what the bank does. Now you've got to realise that this is written as if you're not an inquisitive 5-year-old, but as if you're a brain-dead 5-year-old, okay? And it's very condescending. And so, because what it says, the Bank of England is the UK's central bank. It is not like a bank on your high street. It has special functions. Remember that? Special functions. That help, now wait for this, keep the economy and the financial system stable. That affects us all. Is it doing that? And then, and this is where we get to what I feel is the crux of the problem. Okay? It says, and I don't know if I can read it here. Okay. What's going to be easier to read? Now, I'll try and read it here. It says, the Bank of England has been issuing banknotes for about 300 years. The holder of the note, it basically says the holder of the note was promised to pay, oh that's right, it's promised to pay something in exchange for gold, okay? And then the next sentence it says, this is no longer possible. Now, these notes are promises to pay to exchange for gold. This is what it's saying. And then it says, one sentence it says, this is no longer possible. No explanation whatsoever. And we've got to ask ourselves, why is it no longer possible? Any ideas?
Because it's now based on the fact of ownership of persons' individuality.
Well, they've stolen the bloody stuff. That's the main reason. It's been stolen from it was your great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother that put their life savings into the bank for safekeeping. they were then issued a receipt. That receipt was then given out whilst they took the gold and put it somewhere safer, and now it is worth nothing. I mean, they've had to take the copper content out of coins because what people were starting to do was actually take bucket loads of them to actual melt down because the actual copper content was worth more than the coins. Now you can get a magnet and you can pick up all your coppers. You know, it's like, because there's so much steel in them. I mean, how tight are these people? You know, they were onto a good thing, but I think they've just been a little bit greedy with it. So, we end up with a promissory note, which is basically an IOU. But of course they're special, because of course they are legal tender from a corporation. Now, if Tesco's printed their own currency, it would be fine to use it in Tesco's, I presume, wouldn't it? Because you can get your club card points and get a few... No, I'm sure that there's nobody here that actually goes to Tesco, is there? No. I know there's one over the road. Oh, dear me. Right, you wait till that gets on the forum. Yeah, we've got a photo of him going into Tesco's Metro. But it's not backed by anything apart from... The only thing... It's interesting that you get different denominations of money, don't you? Because money and religion tend to go together, you know, because you get like different denominations, don't you, of like Catholic and Protestant, or you know, you get denominations of like different amounts. You know, there's so many of the words are similar. But you know, what was I going to say? I lost my thread there. It will come back. It will come back.
Money's a religion.
Yes. Because with religion, if you've got a God in a dogmatic belief system, I think spirituality is about feeling something inside. Whereas religion is something that you learn and you're told from outside. And it's based on belief and not experience. So, if you believe that that is worth something, then it's worth something. And it's only the belief that it's worth something that makes it of any value. Now, if suddenly there's a queue of people outside the bank and everyone goes charging in, and I can actually remember what was funny, it was a Saturday, I think 2000, and, it must have been 2008, when the Icelandic bank system went by, and they actually had on Moneybox Live, I listened to that occasionally because I could tell things were hotting up, because there were people phoning up the BBC saying, we can't get our money out of the hole in the wall from the Icelandic bank. And so they actually had, and so, oh, we've had people experiencing problems trying to get their money out. And saying, oh no, it's fine, we've just got a technical problem, if they wait a few hours, and I'm thinking, that guy's lying. And of course, that's when there was a run on the banks, and the Icelandic banks had to close down. So, of course, if everyone went to try and even get the paper money out, they're now putting limits on the amount of paper money you can get out of these machines. And banks now hold very little paper money. This is the thing, because if there's a run, even just getting the paper, it would run out. But, well, there is only paper. This is the ridiculous thing. It's madness. However, let's go on to IOUs. Now, I can do a deal with any one of you here where we don't exchange legal tender, we can just exchange a promissory note. Now, that promissory note might be for 6 dozen eggs, it might be for a cow, or a pig, or a bag of potatoes, or whatever. You can promise to pay somebody in anything you like.